If your 2019 or newer Crew Cab Ram 1500 has gotten a lift or larger tires and you now find it harder for you and your passengers to hop in, these Barricade Canyon Drop Steps in textured black are a great mod to check out. Now, while they're a help in lifted applications, they're also great with stock trucks, offering a lower step to help in any scenario, in addition to providing a really sleek look and good protection to the side of the truck. Now, these are also great for the Ram owner who prefers the drop step for whatever reason that suits their lifestyle and wants a more affordable choice in order to achieve it. This set of steps offers protection, convenience, and style within the design, making it a well-balanced option. Now, the top upper bar hugs close to the rocker, which covers the pinch weld very nicely and cleans up the appearance, but is also a great deterrent for obstacles or other kick-up or things that could potentially come in contact with the rocker or pinch weld area. Now, the steps that come down are also great, but more for the accessibility front, with roughly a 5-inch step with a decent drop, being great for anybody who's on the shorter side, struggling with or without a lift kit when getting inside the cab. Now, the steps also include some punch holes on top for good drainage and grip, in addition to the Barricade logo stamped right in the center for some extra style. These are made of a tough steel construction, making them very durable, especially against impacts, and they each come with a textured black powder coat finish on top. And the powder coat is a great protectant for the steel to avoid any surface damage or scratching, in addition to resisting any rust on the surface. Now, the brackets are also tough powder coated steel, so you can trust that they'll have some solid support when getting in and out, and the kit comes with all of the hardware that you need for a modification-free install. Now, this set comes in at about $300, making this one of the more cost-effective choices for a drop step compared to others in the category. Now, other options may differ slightly with their design, with different drop styles or choices within the step, but if you are looking for that angular style and some better accessibility with that drop when it comes to the function, as well as a heavy-duty appearance for your Ram, then this is a really good choice. Install here is a 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and it really should only take about 2 hours or so in order to get the job done. I do recommend having an extra hand on deck just to help you get these mounted up. It'll make your life a whole lot easier, but you don't necessarily need it. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to one of our installers. They're going to show you a detailed breakdown on how you can bolt these up to your Ram at home. So that wraps it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get to the install.
For this install, you need 3/8 ratchet, 13 deep and shallow socket, and 13mm wrench. All right, today we're gonna be installing some side steps on our Ram, so let's get started. All right, now we're on the driver's side in our rear here underneath the truck. Now we're gonna grab our 2-piece brackets. You'll see they are both labeled DR for driver's rear. They are a 2-piece bracket and will go together just like so. We're gonna put our first half on. Now the front and the rear go on exactly the same. The middle is the only one that's different. We're gonna get our 3 flat washers over our factory studs. And then our 3 locking nuts. Go ahead and grab your ratchet, 13mm socket, zip those tight. So now we'll get our second part of our bracket on. Now I have one of our supplied bolts and our smaller flat washers. We're gonna get this lined up in our 2 tabs. Get our bolt through with another washer and then a lock nut on the back side. Do the same thing with the other bolt. We're gonna grab our ratchet, 13mm socket, and a 13mm wrench. Tighten those 2 down. All right, now you can go ahead and do the same thing for the front bracket. We'll go get our middle bracket on next. So next we have our center bracket. So you see it's just gonna go over 2 studs for right now. We'll get our flat washers and locking nuts over. Gonna grab our second half of our bracket, same thing, labeled driver center. Get that over. And same thing, 2 flat washers, 2 locking nuts, and we can go ahead and tighten them all down. Ratchet, 13mm socket. All right, now we can go ahead and get our side steps on. All right, so now we're gonna get our side step on. As you can see, there are 2 nutserts in each mounting point in our steps. We're gonna be installing our supply bolts that already have our washers on there. Now we're gonna get on our middle bracket first. Just get it held up in place so it won't fall. And then we'll go underneath, thread the rest of them in, and then tighten them down. All right, go ahead, loosely install the other 4, and then we'll go back underneath and tighten. All right, so we have our bolts loosely threaded in there. We're gonna grab our ratchet and shallow 13 socket and go ahead and tighten these down. All right, now you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other 2 mounts on this side. All right, now that you have this side all secured, you can go and repeat all the same steps on the other side of the truck. And that wraps up our install of our Barricade Canyon Drop Steps textured black for our 2019 and newer Ram 1500 Crew Cab. And remember, for everything Ram, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.